back to the channel. I hope everyone had a good day or is having a good day, depending on when this reaches you, and that you either got something accomplished or you were able to relax. Either way, did something that was good for you. If not, hopefully soon. Today I noticed something on my car, and it's been kind of frustrating me because it was meant to get fixed already. I rear-ended somebody a few months ago. I got my car in the shop last month, and I recently got it back, but the light, one of the headlights still isn't working. They quickly changed a fuse under the hood to get it working, so I left the lot. But it only worked for like a day, and I checked the fuse and the fuse is still good, so it's clearly a wire issue. They might have even lied to me about the fuse, I'm not sure. But it's not the bulb. They checked the bulb, and what I believe happened is either a wire got pinched and got mangled or burnt, melted during the rear end, or it just got yanked loose. Maybe one connector's loose, or they kind of have bunches of wires together on most of these connectors, and maybe one is just pulled out and the others are fine. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not a car guy. I've never really been a car guy. I can change a tire, I can change oil, I can change a spark plug, I know how to run codes, I can fill the liquids, I can change the cabin filter, but that's pretty much all my mechanical knowledge. Oh, I changed a belt, the engine, the belt that goes on the engine, the alternator belt, I don't know what it's called, but I changed that too one time. But like, I'm not the guy that's, pulling apart a car and, with a ratchet and a screwdriver replacing everything. I've never really been into like many car brands either. I buy Toyotas just because they're the most reliable, and I don't really care about luxury. If I won the lottery, I probably would just get a nicer, newer Toyota. I don't even think I would go to a Lexus. I don't like the Lexus logo, like the weird shaped L in the circle. It looks weird to me. I think like if I was to win the lottery, I would get like a Toyota Supra or something. If I even went that route, which I probably wouldn't. That's like if I won the lottery and had an epiphany to become flashy, which I seem highly unlikely at this point in my life, even if I was to get a bunch of money. I'll always am the guy that kind of dresses down, because I'm not living check to check right now. I'm living pretty close to it, and I don't want to mess up my savings. Like, I'm not established in any degree, but I have enough money where I can be buying, like, fancier clothes, like, but I'm just kind of buying, like, these t-shirts in, like, packs, and, like, the cheapest, just generic white t-shirts, and I'm always kind of trying to save money and dress down, and like, even if I have money, I'm not going to spend it, so I can't see myself, even if I won the lottery, to suddenly become a car guy and have my personality change. I just view a car as a tool to get from one place to another. And logically, a Toyota is going to be the most reliable to do that. So that's what I get, and this headlight thing has really been bothering me. The lady at the auto body shop really didn't like me. I don't know why, but she kept trying to kind of make fun of my car and kind of get a win over me. And I think she thought I was really destitute or untrustworthy or something, because the technician turned the car on to test the lights before I signed off on it, and she ran and yanked the key out of the ignition and almost yelled at him he hasn't paid yet, I was gonna jump in the car and drive away without paying the deductible with the insurance or whatever. A very weird lady, and I think I've talked about her on my previous Ramble or even my other channel, but she really hated me. Her whole being and her whole energy was against me. It almost, if she was in political power, she would send me to a firing line to be executed for no reason. That's literally the energy she was giving me. She hated me. I could tell right away she hated me, and I don't know why. I've never been hated that irrationally by anyone really before. There was a drunk guy downtown a week ago who was trying to start a fight with me, but that was just a drunk guy that was staring people down. So I mean, that's almost rational because you expect that behavior from a drunk person. And I've had little, beefs and grudges and office politics before at a micro level. But I can't remember off the top of my head even weeks or years going back, somebody that I just met fresh, new, first impression, they just hated me. I can't remember a time other than this lady that's actually happened, and it was really, really bizarre. And I don't know what it was. She was quite busy, so I mean, she's maybe crashing out a little bit. Maybe she's in a position that she can't fully handle and needs to downgrade her job. I don't know, but I think she found me repulsive, and I mean, I'm getting older and I haven't really achieved a lot. I don't have a house and a family, so it could have been that as well, that she just saw me as a pushover that she could punch down onto. But yeah, she really didn't like me, and she was very paranoid about me even being there. I was some kind of criminal or something. It was really odd, and that in turn makes me paranoid about her, because now I have to go back to that same shop, because I'm not going to pay another shop, $1,000 or something to fix this, when that's the reason I went there to begin with, and I have the guarantee or whatever. But now I'm paranoid, what is she going to try to pull on me? She kept trying to get these wins on me. She was really, really rude, but she was also I don't know, she kept trying to get me to kiss her ass too for no reason. It was really weird, but I can't think of concrete examples, which makes me look bad. But the key thing was an example, and just kind of her making fun of the car and saying that she has a real car type thing, and it was just very persistent insults over and over and over again. It kind of was just a bit off-putting. But yeah, anyways, I've been learning how to skateboard, jackass. And like that Steve Buscemi meme where he says, "Hello, fellow kids," and he has a skateboard on his shoulder. I feel like that every time that I do it because people are like asking me to kickflip, which is pretty normal. Like when people see like a skateboarder go by, it's kind of like almost like a given. Some people are gonna say do a kickflip, like it's you get it like 20 times a day when you're out with a skateboard. And I don't know how to do one, and I'm sure some of them might know that I don't know how to do it or could be understanding that, but I think a lot and most are just assuming I can do one. Like I'm an older guy and must be skateboarding for years, and like I'm like a month in, so it makes me feel like a jackass. Kind of makes me feel lost in life too. Like I should have like a kid, but I have like a skateboard. So I mean, like that's not ideal, but it's definitely a learning curve. It's something to focus your mind into. It's something that's somewhat a positive. Like it's not like fentanyl. It's not, sitting around just being lazy. It's something to attempt to learn. It's a skill. It's hard. It's quite hard, actually. I so far only know how to do an ollie, really, that I can reliably do again and again. I get maybe 80% of the ollies that I do, and then I can do a switch and somewhat of a manual. I tried kickflips and pop shove-its today. Those are the two that I'm working on, and those are the two that I really feel like I need to know. I think even like just not moving, just a static, have a kickflip, I feel like would make me feel less like a poser and have something to actually show. And then the pop shove it, usually people say that you learn that first to help you along the way. And I couldn't land either today. I came a bit closer than I did last week, which is, the name of the game. But still nowhere even close to what it would look like if done properly. And when it does come close to being right, like I've done kickflips at this point where it was almost right. I don't know the difference of like when I'm getting warmer or colder, like when I'm getting closer to doing it right to when I'm getting further away and doing it more wrong. Like I don't know the difference. I don't know the fine details of what I did better this time or worse that time. Like I don't know the difference. I'm just kind of winging it. And I'm watching skate videos online, but it's not really helping. It's something that through repetition and years I think you have to get better at, and I don't think there's any way to kind of expedite and speed it up. I think it just has to be done over and over again for like a year, 2 years. And realistically, like I don't have time to be even doing this. I need to really figure my life out and have like a better job or something. But I'm still kind of in a second childhood or some kind of fog and monkeying around with a skateboard. I feel like I'm kind of in like a purgatory state in my life where I'm just treading water not to sink. I'm not really growing as a person, but I'm not getting worse. I'm not getting more bitter. I'm not getting more sick. I'm not getting necessarily weaker. I'm getting older, so weaker will eventually happen, but I'm just not growing. I'm stagnating. And I think that's most people in my demographic right now. Except the ones that obviously had earlier successes and started a family, which is still, it's still might even be the majority. I'm not sure what the exact statistics are, but I've had a lot of friends that have died from drugs and suicide, so probably somewhere in the middle of the pack. But it's getting harder to tread the water and find interests and reasons to keep trucking forward, which I still have to do, obviously. Everyone has to truck forward, make the best of what you can, and find the silver lining of life, and find your people, your flock, and just surround yourself with the best people you can. And I'm at an MMA gym. I can only go once a week because it's at the classes at night class in the evening, and I work nights. I'm mostly a janitor, so it only works out that I can go once a week, but I'm starting to get acquaintances and friends through that. And I'm not a doomer, but I am in like a stagnated point, but I do see potential areas where I can grow and that things can go right. So I can start focusing on bigger things, and I do have some optimism. I have a lot of pessimism too, and I think I have pessimism towards like economic and geopolitical type stuff. I think I'm a pessimist on most of that, but spiritually, I think to learn from past mistakes and to grow as a person and accept my past faults and make peace with them and move on and perhaps go to heaven if I do the right things in life. I'm going to church tomorrow. I've kind of, as I've gotten older, I've gotten more involved in religion and spirituality. I'm kind of asking questions about it now. I have a lunch or something when my uncle comes to town next month or a month after. I'm going to start asking him about because he's somewhat religious, some of his beliefs, and I think that might be kind of where I find my meaning. Because I think just the way like the secular kind of government and society we have hasn't really grown me, caused as much growth spiritually and as a person as I'd like. I'm always kind of in my head. I'm a person who overanalyzes a lot. I'm an introvert. I'm quite shy a lot of the time, and I look for deeper meaning in everything. I always kind of try to find symbolism behind things. I try to find ways that I can justify my actions, good or bad. Just things that I can try to figure out on my own and try to make like a journey and find meaning to it all, because I can't really find a meaning in only going after, fancy cars, and I can't find a meaning in chasing women. I can't find a meaning in doing drugs. I can't find a meaning in work either. Like, I can't find, like, you go on the kind of the more liberal, socially liberal type things like raves or whatever. I can't find meaning there, but you go more conservative and into work ethic will find you meaning. And I work these kind of dead-end jobs, and I'm sweating and I'm getting tired, and I'm working these jobs, and I can't find meaning there either. I don't feel seen or heard in those roles. So I'm kind of just spinning my wheels. I'm not really getting anywhere, but I'm staying afloat. I'm staying on my feet, but I'm not really getting anywhere with anything. And I'm not sure if the goal to life is to be happy. I'm not really sure. I'm quite confused. I'm quite lost, and I would like to be closer with my family, but sometimes when I'm with my family, it's almost like talking past each other, And there's something about, just being an uncle and then having your siblings married and your mom, getting older, and it's almost like you're clinging to the past, and you're the one that's not developing, and it's obvious, and they're at a different life stage than you, and you need to go out and start your own family and things like that, but I can't see that happening, and I'm not even sure if I want that to happen. I've seen the negatives of families, and families deteriorate, and I don't know why I'm kind of glooming on this right now, but these are my thoughts. It's my channel, it's my thoughts, but I'll go to church tomorrow. The last week in church was quite good, actually. I completely forgot what it was about because virtually every day I forget after it's over, and it just all blends into one. But I remember that it was good, and I remember it was on point, and I remember that I should go back to tomorrow, which I'm gonna do. I met an older guy named Ed, and he said that if he could go back in time, he'd pick up a trade. He was caught up working as a mailman, and he said that he was working 60 hours a week to make life work, delivering mail, but he also said that he had a family, and probably, I would assume, a house, so he had to make it work at the wages that he was getting paid, so he had to work more. For me, if I don't have those things, or if I have no means of even getting those things, I wouldn't need to work those hours. But his advice about the trades, I'm not sure about that either. I've thought about it, and I've emailed, and I've called, and I've talked to people, and a lot of these shops are actually closing up, and they're moving. All the fabrication, welding shops are going out of business. The lumber yards I've applied to have went out of business. There's no real unions here. I'd have to go to a bigger city, and then bigger cities are more expensive, and there's no real guaranteed seat, and then you're going to be working really long hours to something that you might not even want to do, and you start as a laborer. It's a big risk. And I'm at the point where my body is actually starting to ache a little bit, so it's probably too late on that. Sales would probably be better, but there's a bottleneck, and there's a competition, and it's all word of mouth for everything. So that's kind of how I got caught up and stuck in janitorial. I never really was an interesting person to build a social circle and to be referenced and given opportunities like that. And I did drop out of high school when I was young. I was kind of an angry child, and I kind of screwed that up. I did get my GED. I went back for that, but it is what it is. I cleaned my tarantula enclosure. I've had a tarantula for 17 years. It's lived that long. 17 years. It's actually kind of cute. It's grown on me over the years. When I first bought it, I was a teenager, and I was just trying to be edgy or cool and freak out my mom or something. And then I kind of just set it and forget it. You only have to feed it a cricket once a month. And even further apart than that, even once every 3 months. They don't eat anything, basically. The species of tarantula I have is known is known for long fasting periods, and they also molt. They shed their skin like a snake does, and before it does that, like, it doesn't eat for like 4 months. So it's actually easier to maintain than a house plant. It's bizarre. And the females live for like 20 years, and the males live for like 2 years or something. So I have a female, which I always kind of knew. I had a feeling when I first got it that it was a female. Like, I didn't know that, like, how to identify it. I just knew that it was a female spider when I bought it. It was just kind of like a delusion or a coin flip lucky guess, but it turned out to be true. Like, I knew, like, in my heart when I bought it that there was a female spider. Like, I just took a guess, I stuck with it, and 16, 17 years later, I'm right, because a male tarantula doesn't live that long. It's impossible. The females live long like that. So, it's currently just chilling, and it's weird. Like, I gave the first half of the story. Like, when I first got it, I was trying to be edgy, like, freak out my mom that I have, like, a poisonous tarantula or something. And then for, like, the next few years, I just set it, forget it, like a house plant, and I didn't really care about it. And that went on for a long time. And I don't really handle it. I have a glove that I can use to pick it up with, but I don't really care to handle it too much. I don't want to squish it, I don't want to freak it out, I don't want to cause it stress, and I don't want to cause me stress, because it is venomous, and the fangs are actually quite big. It would be like getting stabbed. It wouldn't send me to the hospital, but it would be, I would imagine, 10 times worse than a wasp, and a wasp is still something you don't want to get stung by. So, I leave it in there, but I was looking at it today after I cleaned its enclosure, and I was really proud that I cleaned its enclosure, because I had it on a to-do list forever, and I never really got around to it, because I bought the coconut fiber that it goes on the bottom of, like, the aquarium, and I had it in the living room just kind of sitting there for like almost like a year, and I never got around to it, and I got around to it either yesterday or the day before, and I don't know if it's happier or not, but I'd be happy if I was in there. And I was kind of thinking about that earlier. Is a tarantula in like, you think about like animals in a zoo or an enclosure, and they would be like miserable. But I think a tarantula would be one of the only species that would be happier or better in an enclosure, because tarantulas don't move a lot. They're pretty static. Like, at least this species, this particular subspecies of tarantula, they're pretty static, and they wait for the cricket or the insect to come to them, and then they pounce on it. Like, they're not exploring through, like, acreages. They're just kind of, like, just sitting there and not doing too much. So, basically what the enclosure does is it lets it live its natural life without the threat of predators. I don't know what exactly eats tarantulas, if it's birds or if it's, some kind of like honey badger, or I don't know exactly what its natural predators would be that prey on it in Chile or wherever it's from. Maybe a monkey or something, I have no idea. But even outside of predators, like, it could get stepped on by an animal, or something could kill it. It could fall into like a river and drown. Like, it has no risk, and it lives basically the same it would live out there. So I think it's probably the only creature that can really have only positives from living in an enclosure. It's almost like the perfect pet. It just chills. It's very cool. And like, I have house plants that die because I forget to water them. And I've had this for like 17 years. No problem. So it's pretty cool. I've had dogs too, and I take care of my dogs, but it would be impossible for me to neglect a dog because they become like my son, and I just take them everywhere that I go, and like I give them food off my plate. I give them like their kibble too, but like if I'm eating a steak, like I'll give them like the gristle, and everywhere that I go is pretty much outdoor stuff. Like I'm a hiker, and I go to the beach, and there's a dog beach here, and we drive around, and like it was just like driving around your kid or your friend or whatever. Like the dog is the best pet for sure. Like man's best friend is not just a trope. It's not just a saying. It's a reality. Like the dog evolved around humans. They were originally domesticated wolves that became a dog. Like we directly molded that species of canine into what they are. Like they are actually designed to be our friends. Like they're the original AI. Like superior to AI. AI is garbage. Horses too, cats too, but the original is the dog, and the original is always the best. There's no sequel, no remakes that can beat the original. I'm a dog guy. I'm not a cat guy. I've grown to tolerate cats. At first, cats disgusted me because they basically act like narcissists, psychopaths, and they shit in your house. And I read somewhere online that the litter box that cats have airborne bacteria that can cause problems with like your mental health, even in some cases. And I'm a very germ-phobic guy. I have OCD. I don't like any turds in the house. I don't like hairballs. I don't like that they kind of think that they're the boss. I don't want a pet that looks down on me. I don't. So I'm not a cat guy. There's no real benefit to having a cat either, too, because you can't take a cat on a hike the same way you can take a dog on a hike. I've seen like an old lady sometimes around my neighborhood walking a cat on a leash. Like, you just look like a schizophrenic if you're doing something like that. And I'm not trying to be, against schizophrenics. I think I might be a little bit on the paranoid side myself, and I have compassion for people that go through that kind of thing, but I'm just a dog guy, and I've really grown to like my tarantula in the last even few weeks more than ever. I've just been looking at it more, and probably the reason for that in part is because it's 17 or so, and they live to about 20, so I know that, it's getting up there, and I won't have it forever, so I'm kind of appreciating it more now, and I'm kind of looking at it more now, and just trying to enjoy its presence a bit more than I have in the past. So, that's kind of my day. There's some doom and gloom in there, but there's some positives in there. I think I'm going to wrap this video up in a couple minutes, just with some well wishes. It's a long video, like it's over half an hour long, so that would probably have a better chance of somebody falling asleep to it if they made it halfway through. If not, that's fine. I don't know how exactly the algo works on ASMR videos, but I know retention is good, so I don't really know how to retain people on these videos because I'm just kind of being myself, and I'm kind of just talking what's on my mind. I'm getting like almost a skill for like turning the filter off in my brain during these ASMR talks, and I'm just kind of just saying whatever pops into my head without even thinking, which can be a negative if I'm saying crazy things or thinking crazy things, but I thankfully am thinking normal thoughts, and I'm not actually like a lunatic that some people might think that I am, because I'm always kind of social group, it's hard to make friends, and especially when you're getting older. But yeah, I had a good day. I was skateboarding, getting frustrated, but you know, it was nice. It was nice to get out, saw some people, just to be around other people and to try a skill and figure something out. But at the same time, I'm kind of in the back of my head panicking, like I can't enjoy anything when I'm doing it, because I feel like I need to be grinding and making money so I don't starve whenever this global depression comes. And I don't know if I'm being super paranoid because of doom scrolling and being online too much, looking at the news, or if it's actually going to happen and I'm being too idle and lazy. But I think it's a mix of both, really. Like, I think everyone can be doing more, and I think we are heading for a recession or a depression. But then at the same time, I need to be able to turn off my brain and find some sort of hobby and something meditative where I can just be and live. And I think, you know, skateboarding can be that potentially, but it's also quite frustrating, and I feel like some kind of old poser when I'm doing it, so it kind of adds to my overthinking sometimes. But that's generally my day and my week. My mom's birthday is soon. I have to get a card or some kind of gift. So I'll do that pretty soon. I was going to do a customized card, but it's not going to get here on time. That ship's sailed. I meant to do that last month. Get like a Walmart Photoshop card. I used AI on the Christmas one, and it was me and my sisters, and we were kind of photoshopped into wacky situations. Like, one of my sisters was riding a horse, and we were all wearing like, I had like a Santa hat, and they had like elf hats or something. Like, it was just stupid. But my mom liked it, and one of my sisters really liked it. She liked it more than my mom did, and wants one herself. And then the other one didn't like it at all, and kind of hated it, and thought that it seemed like she thought I was like weird putting her picture on something, like it was like a violation or something. Like, my sisters are both complete opposites, a 180 of each other on everything when it comes to just how they talk to people, their taste in music, their jobs, where they want to be in life, their politics, the way they see the world. I don't believe in left-right anymore, but, you know, one's one way, the other's the other way. It's kind of, I don't like feeding that trope, because I think left and right is a psyop, but one is conservative, one isn't, is what I'm saying. But, yeah, that's just kind of the family dynamic. Is, I think I'm somewhere in between the two, at least socially. One's very socially conservative, one's very socially liberal, and I'm kind of in between. Sometimes I'll see someone who's, you know, further into the socially liberal, and I'll be like, blah. And then the other way, too far socially conservative, I'm like, blah. But then I find that, like, if you're neither, and you're like a fence sitter is the new term, people find you bland and boring, and you don't really have any opinions or anything. So I think I'm blah too. So I think you're gonna be blah to somebody, and no matter what you do. But God bless everybody. Thanks for watching. This is 40 minutes long. This is the longest ASMR video I've ever done. It has to be. I don't think I've done one on this channel or my previous channel that got demonetized. And I don't like doing them this long, because when you get 5-minute retention on 40 minutes, it sinks the channel. But if you do like 10 minutes and you get 5 minutes, then it's 50% retention, and then your videos get lifted up. But I'm going to let it run. I'm not going to cut this up, even though there is some parts in here that I probably shouldn't have said or probably were boring to people, but that's kind of the paradox of ASMR, is you want it to be boring at the same time, because it's usually used for people to fall asleep. That's kind of the point of ASMR, is it's supposed to be kind of non-combative, just kind of neutral, and just kind of rambling on so people can just turn their brain off and fall asleep. But if it gets like too depressing or too political or something, people, wake up and turn it off because they don't want to feel like they're getting, programmed with a bunch of nonsense they don't agree with or whatever. At least that's what happens with me. Like if somebody just starts, saying something that's too hyper political, or if it's too one way or the other, I don't want to fall asleep thinking about putting other people's opinions in my head too much. But anyways, this is my video. I almost don't want to stop and I want to keep talking, which is weird. I'm in a very extroverted, kind of chatty mood right now. And it's Saturday night, so I probably should be out, somewhere talking to people. But I mean, I don't really know where to go to do that. Like, there's no real scene here to do that. Like, this isn't a large city where you can just kind of go table hop and kind of just make friends instantly at, like, but hopefully that car thing gets solved. That's on my mind. That's the biggest stress right now for me, is this car thing. And it's so disappointing that they didn't fix it right the first time. It's absurdly disappointing. It's disgusting, actually. I think the light's actually further dead than it was when I first started this fix the car journey. And it was really the only thing that I really cared about, because the smacked in bumper was like, who cares? Like, I can still drive it. It's still clipped on. It's not going to fall off. The horn was like, okay, that's a safety feature. I need to get that fixed. And then the light was the biggest thing. The biggest issue with me, because I can't go out of town. I can't drive at night. So it's like not even having a car. It's like having a car for a few hours a day. Like, I guess it's summer now, so like most of the day. So at least it's in the right season that this happened. But still, it's the biggest issue I had was to get the light fixed. The rest I would have just lived with. And it's the one thing they didn't fix. It's like the one thing I went forward to get fixed that they didn't fix, so it was really annoying. Leave a comment if you made it to the end, if you could. It'll help the algo and help me know if people are watching. I guess I can check the YouTube studio anyways, but yeah, I'm gonna peace out and go to sleep myself now. It's getting late and I don't really want to go out. I went out a little bit yesterday, Friday night. Not to clubs or anything, but I was doing some skateboarding downtown, and I'm not gonna do it again tonight. I'm not feeling energetic. I'm feeling more like a homebody right now, and I'm gonna go to bed. So, church tomorrow. Hopefully I wake up at a decent time, not too late, not too early. I don't set my alarm on actually, I don't set my alarm period because I work nights even on days that I do work, but certainly not on my days off. Church, they run 2 services. One starts at like 9 and then another at 10:30. I go to the 10:30 one. I wake up usually around 9. So hopefully I'll aim for that and go to that. If I miss it, I miss it. I mean, it's not going to be the end of the world, but I do think that I should go, but it's usually a senior crowd anyways. It's not really socializing with people my age, but we'll see what happens. So God bless everybody, and thanks for checking out my video. This was one of the longer ones.